We warn viewers that the tape we're about to show may be too intense for children.
Turn it up.
It's time to get a little mean. Time to get a little cold. Time to get brutal. It's time for Sledge. 6 foot 10 inches of bone-crushing brutality and one big-ass hammer. And if you're in his way, he's got one message for you.
You're going to burn in hell!
Dude,
that is so badass, that intro,
it is,
man.
man.
John, you are a legend.
John, man, that was wonderful, dude. Like, I didn't see the review today because I have 4 kids who like to, be up my butt 24/7. So I love when people like do what John did today, said, "Hey, I did this," and I'm like, "Oh man, this is badass." And he truly does a good job at that shit, dude. Like anything he's ever made, and I've seen quite a few things that he's done. He doesn't miss.
Straight up gave me chills, man. I couldn't believe it. I mean, just the thought that there's people out there putting that much time and effort into making something that badass for my guy, like, come on, man.
Let me read this to you. I said that's so badass to John, and these were his words. Stayed up till 3 a.m. getting it in the review done last night, so it was important for him.
Oh yeah, man. I know he's been, it's been blowing up all over the internet. There's so much just Sledge content dropping today. Shane, who I see in the chat, came out with an interview, already overbooked another Sledge YouTube video today, man. It's just all going on, man.
I have to admit
damn
something
cool.
since you brought him up. Shane, bro, I seen the interview you did, and I had to steal this. Just in case it came in like useful tonight. I couldn't find a way to make it look nice. I'll do something better next time. But man, I like that heading. It was really attractive, which is honestly, let's talk about that first, man. This isn't the first rodeo with me and Nick. Now, this is the highly anticipated second coming.
Let's go.
Anytime I talk to my guy, Nick, man, look, we're both tall. We both played basketball. The only difference is Nick was actually fucking good. I was bad, dude. I'm just one of them big old clumsy tall dudes. It's like, oh, my feet are there. I'm going to trip over those.
Once I embraced that I was the same, that's actually when I got good.
Man, I played basketball and football. I was better at football, but basketball was where the passion was, man. I wished and prayed every night that I'd be good because I loved getting dirty in the paint, swinging bows, grabbing rocks. Oh, I loved it, man.
That was how I made my money, man. That's how I built this house.
That's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing, man, because a lot of people have that dream, dude, and a lot of people don't find that as the reality. And I just think that's super cool, brother. But it just leads back to me saying, good to have you here, man.
Dude, it's just so good to be here. I feel like we have this, kindred spirit going on. We kind of got into this booktube and author thing at the same time. We both have the bearded badassery vibe right away.
Yeah.
I just knew we were going to be sort of brothers in this thing, and it's exactly what's happened. Like, think how far you've come in a year. And I just have been reflecting on how far Sledge has come in this year, and it's just wild, man. And like, you've been a huge part of that, and we're kind of feel like we're in this thing together as a team, dude. It's just
that's how I like it.
Yes.
That's so cool, man. I'm so glad you think of it that way because I look at it exactly the same. Because when you start something new with somebody who's new as well to this thing, you kind of gravitate. You said skull, and I'm like, yes, I know what he's talking about.
Yeah, man.
But so the wifey got me this mug yesterday, the beer mug.
Horn, man.
So now I can officially say it with some authenticity.
Dude, that's too good. That's too cool. I gotta get me one of those. I've seen the kind that's like an actual horn, and it's got like the little chalice that it sort of slots into. Those are badass too.
That's what I originally wanted, and I'm so glad that she didn't because look, for a couple reasons. You have to have a stand.
Yeah, you got to bring the stand with you too.
everywhere. Everywhere. And me, I'm gonna dump it. And look, they're not like super like resistant. They can break their horns. It's a natural thing.
Yeah, man.
So I'm glad that this sits flat. It also came with a shot glass. I'll never use that because I don't drink like liquor or hard anything. I just never have liked it, but it's a really cool shot glass too. Anyway, man.
Send me the link, man. I got to give you one. That's my Christmas present to myself.
There you go. So we'll start. For anybody who's here that isn't familiar with you or what you did or what you do or whatever you want to tell, tell a little bit about yourself. Just kind of introduce yourself and we'll go from there. This is for those that aren't familiar and need to become familiar.
All right, man. Well, I hail from the great white tundra of Minnesota, but I now live in New Zealand. And the epic journey that brought me down here was basketball, my first love and obsession. I played, I'm tall. I'm a big mofo, 6'10", and I grew up hooping and went to university at Duke. Never really, got a lot of court time there. I was always playing behind an NBA legend. So when I got out of university, I had to make the choice if I was going to keep playing or not. I decided to keep playing. I got my first pro gig down in Australia. So I ended up moving down to Sydney and have never really left the southern hemisphere since then. So now I live in New Zealand with my beautiful family, my beautiful girlfriend, Anishka, who's also Canadian. So we're two northerners way down here in the south with our little family. After basketball, I became a physics teacher. I got a degree in physics and English when I was at Duke. And but my real dream, I've always had three dreams in my life. One, to play pro basketball, one, to be a teacher, and finally was to write books, to publish badass books. And so just in the last year, I've ticked the box of my all-time greatest dream, the one that I sort of thought was unattainable. And like I just said before, what's happened in this last year is just blown all of my dreams and expectations out of the water. Like, it's just really everything I envisioned for what this creation of this ultimate sort of badass character. I always wanted to create like the next Conan, the next Batman, the next sort of ultimate sort of badass. And I'm kind of doing it, man. It's really happening. Sledge lives. He's here, growing.
If there was a commercial at the Super Bowl, let's say, and Sledge and the vibe that it sends and the everything about Sledge, bro, I'm telling you, it would be that. And we're just getting to that point slowly but surely. But, of course, everybody wants that Super Bowl commercial. But I think a lot of what ties into what you're saying, man, and this big change just in over a year, is self-publishing has become something that I had no idea that it even existed kind of until I ran into a lot of you guys here that are here in the chat, and Nick and specifically Ed, EC Greaves. By the way, man, I don't know if you know this, but you should. My wife a while ago made bookmarks, and she hasn't made any sense. And like they're EC Greaves styles, baby.
Man.
But
Ed is the ultimate artist in my mind. He can do it all.
He is,
write, draw, make video games. He's funny. He's just got it all. He's the raddest. I say it all the time. He's the raddest dude there is, and he's down here in New Zealand with me.
Yeah, I was thinking, man. Look, I'm gonna go out on 1,000 tangents. That's okay. That's what we do here.
That's how we roll, man. It's just
it is. That's what I love about live interviews. Some people are like, "I'm so sorry I went on a tangent." I'm like, dude, there's nothing better than that. When people watch these and they see what we are as humans, rather than me editing this and that and looking pretty and all that. Look, we come as we are here, and we talk as we do, and we go down those journeys, those side alleys. But I love it anyway.
And Mr. calls it riding the stoke. That's what I need to do. Like I just find that rabbit hole, that thing that gets me stoked, and then just go see where it leads, and just let it take you where it goes. And that's all. It's like my flow state is just finding that thing that stokes me out in the moment and just rolling with it. So let's go.
Gotta like wake up in the morning and it's like, what's gonna bring the stoke today?
That's it.
Love that.
That's it.
So Ed EC Greaves. I'm gonna call you by our friend first names and also the author name, because if you ain't got his books, you get to it right after this. He's like, man, I just read this and reviewed this book, and I had seen your stuff. I've been, I had seen scrolling and stuff. I just hadn't reached out to you, or vice versa.
Mhm.
And that's everywhere. I can't reach out to
100%.
everybody.
I see 100 books a day.
Yeah, exactly. So he sent it. He's like, man, this is a badass book. You should have him on and review his book. And so I have to say, he birthed this. He had the assist with this awesome relationship, man. That we grow each other, and it just kind of, like I was saying before we came live, it's like this big old first full circle thing. So Ed, I'm gonna give credit to you, my friend, and you deserve it, my friend, because again, he's such a nice dude, and I think that he could talk about anything so positively, it's infectious.
Exactly it, man. His vibes are immaculate. He's all hype. I always say there's two kinds of
Immaculate
people in the
vibes.
world, right? There's kinds of
like
people where they give out positive energy, and if you give out positive energy, you tend to give it back. Whereas if you're the kind of complainer, whiner, everything's a problem, you give out that energy, that's what you get back. So like, I always just try to surround myself with people that are gonna pick you up when you need it, and then pretty soon you find that your vibes are just, you're all floating, you're all achieving more than you could ever dream, and Ed is
Yeah.
one of those guys, right? Like,
And-
I'll never forget when he was reading Sledge, he was messaging me live at work on like chapter by chapter, and it was just like one of the greatest dreams of my life, like that there was another dude out there that was like picking up all the references, and like he just got exactly what I was trying to do, exactly. And it's like, I still reread his review of Sledge just to like get myself stoked again, man. It's just so damn awesome.
Oh, I can't imagine, dude. That's got to be the ultimate like propeller.
Yeah, man. Ultimate.
And shit, I forgot I was going to say I do that a lot. Oh,
Right.
I want to agree with you about that positive people and surrounding, because I have I'll admit it. I can get to a dark place, man. The Matthew that you guys see on live is not the Matthew that is exactly this 24/7. This is a very passionate thing that I love to do. But your boy has downtimes too, and I think it's good to talk about surrounding yourself with people that you look up to. Because if you're the most interesting man in the room, you need to change rooms, right? You need to have somebody to look up to. And I find myself doing that a lot, especially if I get down, because I do have those moments. So I like that you touched on that. 100%. Oh man, we have some wonderful people in this. Let's see if I can even begin. I've thrown a few up. Ed, of course, avid book junkie. He or she put their book down to get here. I'm putting my book down for this. That is
How
a trophy.
cool is that, man? That's just the coolest damn thing, right? Like there all these people here hanging out. What a dream! What a genuine dream, team.
Hell yeah! And then already overbooked. Didn't he drop his review today?
He just dropped his YouTube review today. Everyone go check it out. It is badass. I'll do a posting on it later. I just had so much stuff going on today. It's hitting thick and fast. Each day I'll highlight one of these incredible reviews that's been rolling in all today.
That's so cool. So already overbooked. I'm gonna speak to you just plain and simple, because we were talking about you. Yep, if your nose or whatever's supposed to itch when somebody's that was us, and it was wonderful things, because all of a sudden I saw you on X, and in an awesome way, man, doing reviews for my guy Nick, and just I had it was out of the blue, so I love that. Starting a friendship with somebody or a commonality, and that kind of just being fresh, and all of a sudden it feels really cool. So I'm so glad you're here. My guy, Ed, E.L. Montague, Sledge on the computer, Tyson on the television. Man, just to say, I hope Tyson mops the floor with Jake Paul, but I don't really care at the end of the day, but that would be fun to find that out.
I can't wait to watch it. I was initially gutted that we're going to be on the same time, but there'll be 2 hours of undercard BS. So we'll still get to hit it.
I feel like we'll be able to slide in there. And even if we don't, I'm still like, I would be surprised if Jake won. Not because he's a terrible fighter, but maybe I'm just pulling for the 58-year-old a little harder.
I just think it's ridiculous that Jake Paul thinks he's a tough guy for fighting a senior citizen. Now I know it's Mike Tyson, but they're also fighting 12-ounce gloves and 2-minute rounds. So like,
look, I'd lose to both.
If he was really in this to win this, they would be playing with standard 8 ounces, and he'd
now
be really feeling the Iron Mike.
Bro, he's a dog. Back in his day, and even now, have you see his physique?
Dude,
retarded
for a
physique,
60-year-old, but still, like when I was playing Mike Tyson's Punch Out on original Nintendo,
Yes.
was when Mike was in his prime. I was 9, so Jake,
Right.
you're not really fighting a guy right in the prime. Like, try Alexander Usyk. See how you go against him, big dog.
Man,
Anyway.
9. So I don't know how old you are. I was born in 90. What year were you born?
Yeah, I was born in 81.
81. Okay.
44.
Yeah, dude, you're young. You're a young spring chicken. The 44 is the new 10, right?
That's
well,
it,
I guess
yeah.
that's a little.
I
but
can't wait. I mean, I like getting old. I want the gray,
You too?
grizzled, distinguished beard. I like being a dad. I like being like the,
And that's why we get along right there.
the
We have
old
the same
bear.
values.
100%, man. 100%. My daughter's just now a teenager. Like, I'm in the prime
That scares
dad
me,
age.
bro. That scares me.
Prime dad age. Yeah. Protective daddy bear.
I can't imagine. I can't. I'm like my boys. I'm gonna be hard. I like this quote I heard the other day. It says, "When my daughter grows up, I want her future husband to hear nothing but daddy, daddy, daddy. My father said, treat me this way, daddy, daddy. And I'm gonna be hard on my sons, and I'm gonna spoil my daughter." And I was like,
100%.
you know what?
Took my daughter
I
out today
love
on a date.
What is it?
My daughter Scout's birthday was a few weeks back, but she was away for the weekend. So we just went out on a birthday date, bought a couple outfits, went out for pizza. It was fun.
Man, she'll remember that forever. That's amazing.
Dude, my daughter is such a superstar. So her mom was an Olympian and her dad was me. And you should.
Her dad was me.
I just can't even tell you how on the sports field, in the classroom, she is just absolutely. She's like a Sledge in real life, just kicking ass and taking names. I'm so proud of her.
I hope my dorky kids. I was a dork as a kid, and they're not dorks. I'm just messing around. But my boys, they're too young to even be considered anything. I think that they'll be into sports because I was. But I hope at least one of them, I'm going to let them do what they want. I'm going to hopefully get them into sports and they stay in it. I'll make them stay maybe the first couple of years. And if they don't want to do it after that, I'm not going to force them into anything. But I do hope to have that proud dad moment. Of course, I'll be proud no matter what. But seeing him come out of the field house with smoke or whatever it is that you see with your daughter.
Oh, man.
In the sports that she plays. That's it.
Absolutely nothing. Since I retired from playing, you're looking for that thing. Like coaching just doesn't do it for me. Writing is fun and like having that book out there and getting that hype is cool, but it's not that acute moment of competition. But watching your kids compete and dominate is just the most fun damn thing of all time. Both my kids are just such awesome hoopers, and it's just going to be something we can share for our whole lives, whether we're playing in the backyard, watching it on TV, or I'm watching them traveling around. It's just so much fun. It's just so much fun.
That is such a blessing, dude. Congratulations on that.
It's just awesome.
Let's see. Absolutely. Let's see here. I lose context, so forgive me. Hey, I agree. Everything about it. What's going on, dude? Good to see you, man. I'm slowly making a website for Allegiance authors, they call themselves. It's a little group of authors, self-pub authors are doing something cool.
Nice, and man. Another little indie army.
Yeah, exactly. I love what they're trying to do, and they let me build their website slowly but surely. Let's see here. Ed, Skull, Mr. Horvath.
Oh, let's go. What's coming?
Oh yeah, well, slow down, man. Slow down.
Yeah,
Charlie, what's up, man? I know that you don't have you have a new job and all that, but I'm so appreciative that you're here, man. I know that it's not always easy. Thank you, brother.
Charlie is the man. Another Southern Hemisphere legend. Cross the ditch.
I have to ask, Nick, do you ever plan on coming back to the U.S. or do you plan on kicking the rest there?
We don't, like, and this goes from Canada, so we don't know. It'll all be dependent on what our kids end up with, right? Like, we don't want to move just the two of us back and then have our kids still down here. So it's still up in the air, but we're definitely going to be heading back a lot. Whether we move back permanently, don't know. We would love to probably, but it'll be kids dependent.
Okay. No, I like that because I can imagine, thinking of myself growing up in the U.S. and going to New Zealand, which it's not like, I mean, I guess it is. I guess I wouldn't know because I've never done it, but I feel like I would feel a little homesick about certain things where you grew up, you remember and wish that, those homesick feelings, whatever it is. But I also think that New Zealand is such an amazing place, beautiful. And that's about all I know. I don't know anything about politics there. I don't know anything other than the Lord of the Rings looks beautiful. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's a mint place. I'll admit it's isolated, but it's also like if the nuclear apocalypse happens, New Zealand is the place you want to be. It's underpopulated, beautiful land everywhere. Everything's chill. All the resources, everything you want. There are things we miss, like coming up on summer when it starts getting hot and light out. It just doesn't feel right. But then when it's in the middle of March and it's summer and everyone's just slogging through snow back home, we're feeling pretty good down here.
Yeah. Oh man. So I love that, dude. I love that, and I'm so thankful we kind of dove into some foundational aspects here at the beginning, and kind of where I wanted to go now, if you don't mind, is talk about first when did you drop Sledge versus the Labyrinth?
Halloween last year. So it's been just on 1 year. I just had the Sledge-a-ween anniversary. And so that's why I've just sort of been reflecting on what's happened. Like 1 year ago, Sledge was only in my head. It was this thing that I'd been living with and creating for my whole life. And now he's got a life of his own, man. It's just incredible. The last couple months of just, as far as, sales, hype, everything that's happened, it's just been, record-breaking month after record-breaking month. It's really just blowing my mind. It's catching on, man. Sledge is really a thing. It's incredible.
I remember, I was so happy to have the opportunity to kind of, read it and review before. I believe I got the review out before it came out, but I had it read before it came out, and which I find as a huge opportunity, and I thank you for. But it was cool when I saw you. I remember the video clear as day where you received the first physical copy, and you're just like, dude, it's real, it's here, and I could just tell that was a moment for you.
Unbelievable moment, man. Like that moment of like physically holding my book, my novel. I'd had that image, that dream in my head for my whole life, as long as I could remember, since I picked up, like The Stand when I was reading that. Like the first novel, I was just like, damn, I want to be able to write one of these. So it's just been a dream.
And I think it's especially important to talk about that, and you do such a wonderful job at talking about it, because to you it was really a dream, and there's so many others writing or wanting to write that I realized I wanted to be a reader or a writer kind of later in life, right? 29, 30 years old. But there's so many people that have that deep desire to do what you're doing now. And what you're doing is speaking that inspiration and throwing it to them, giving them a little bit of an assist. And that's so incredible, dude. So there's so many, I know it. I see these names in here that are doing wonderful things too. And it's like, I know that this helps and encourages them as well. You guys are all doing this together. You have conquered what most people start if they want to start it and don't finish. And it's been successful. So It's a little, so about a year old, a little over a year, which is incredible. It doesn't seem like that, dude. It seems just like
I know,
yesterday.
man. It goes so fast. It's
That's
awesome.
why I asked. I thought it had been a year because we had talked about it, and I was like, I think it has been, but it also seems like it was just yesterday. Life's crazy.
Well,
But
that's the cool thing about books too, is they don't have a it's not here and gone. Like Sledge is now eternal. You can get this book anytime, and who knows when it's going to hit. So it's like, yeah, I came out with it, and it had a in terms of sales and all that stuff, had a big debut, and it was good. And I was like, okay, this is what it is. But then sales drop, and you just kind of, I was feeling through like, okay, this is what it is. But then for whatever reason, don't know, it just takes a while for things to catch. And all the people in the chat, all you guys, like a review here, an interview there, who knows which one is going to be the thing. It might be in, like Squid Game. Guy wrote the book a decade before someone was like, yo, this is good. And then boom, now he's the author of Squid Game, and it's a Netflix show, and it's the thing. So
especially with books.
Oh, and books are exactly. So it's just so cool how Sledge is underground, It's like we don't have, all of us indie warriors don't have Random House putting their $10 million ad budget into it, throwing it into every airport and supermarket. We're doing it old school, word of mouth, underground, unfiltered, uncut. And that's just the most Sledge thing of all time,
And those
So
up and downs
to
too.
be indie.
Yeah, those up and downs, just other authors. Molly here, wonderful. Tim, I mean, you've got Ed here, you've got another Ed here, you've got so many authors just in the chat here in this one video that can relate with
Rob
those.
Lee, right down there, man. Death metal.
I haven't made it all. Rob, are you here, dude? I haven't made
I
it
just
all.
saw, man. He's here.
There he is. What's up, Rob? The brutal metalhead himself, Rob Lee, is in the house. I'm late to it because I was going down the comments slow like I was. But shit, what was I saying? I'm terrible. Oh, the ups and downs. That's a relatable self-pub subject, man. So reaching out, as I know you do, and people reaching out to you, and the whole community thing we always talk about, those ups and downs, they're all felt. That's been felt by every self-pub
together, and it's a different journey for everyone. And there were so many things that I didn't know about, that I didn't expect. And the huge one for me was once Sledge was out there, it's now in the collective consciousness. So now there's this unseen like curtain of pressure of writing the next one. What's the next thing? All the timelines, deadlines, sales ranks, all this kind of stuff that can just like, it's not a thing. When Sledge is just in my head, none of that existed. Suddenly the book's out there, and so wading my way through those battles, those pits of despair, the finding the writing hard, not getting it, all these things, the pressure mounting, just like you're saying behind the camera, there's things you go through that people don't see. So I go through all that, and I know all authors do, just feeling like sometimes you're just shouting into the void and no one's listening, no one gives a shit. You come out with this book and crickets and all this kind of stuff that everyone is going through. It's like, we're all here, man. It's I have so much respect for anyone who takes their heart and soul and puts all that time and effort, their 10,000 hours into a book, into a piece of music, into any piece of art, into a YouTube channel, puts it out there to the wolves, to into the pit to be torn apart. Like, you got to have a thick skin, you got to have courage, and to just keep going is just the most badass thing there is. So
I took somebody's advice when I started this. I took somebody, I don't remember whose advice, because it's given by lots of people. It's said all the time. It's like, when I started, I knew when I want to just kind of touch on it. It's like, I had no idea I was going to do interviews or talk to authors or whatever live, because people are watching me. That was very uncomfortable first. I was very frightened, but I made that second to be uncomfortable. And now it's one of the funnest things that I do. So writing a book, talking about those ups and those downs, like Tim says here, the low lows and the high highs.
That's it.
I feel like once you take a step and realize you're not going to fall off a cliff, and the other people that same you went into their footprint.
Yeah, man.
Man,
I mean, I found it very similar to playing pro sports. So the second you're playing sports for money, and so people are paying to watch you play, suddenly everyone feels, and everyone does have the right to critique your performance because you're up on the stage, right? So like you can sit back and be like, wow, LeBron James played like shit today, or whatever it is. That's a real man trying to do a real difficult thing out there. So like, you know, it that can take a massive toll. That was something that I really had to learn how to cope with and deal with as a player. And it's the same as an author. You're out there for public consumption. Anyone can read your book, and anyone can throw up that random 1-star rating just to, you know, like, and you got to be able to have that thick skin, be in that pit ready to just keep on battling.
Take it to the chin, right?
Hell yeah, man. What's that? I don't know how it's taken me so long to get this. This is just for you writers out there that this has just really worked for me. It might not obviously work for everyone. It's a very Sledge mechanism, but what I got to with my playing was I couldn't look at the end goal, winning the championship. That couldn't be my only focus because it was too far away, and the pressure that mounted on top of that could be suffocating. So I had to learn to focus on the daily grind of it. Just get in the gym and put in your time. Don't even think about, you know, when the next game is, how all those long-term goals. And I've just recently put that into my writing, where I now write in my workout room amongst my tools and my weights, and I work out at the same time I write. And I literally look at my writing time in the same way as I look into my grind and my workout. If I've put in my 2 hours of time, if I've put in my time in the gym, in the garage, in the pit, then I can leave it for the rest of the day. And that continual pressure of word count, what chapter I'm on, is it coming? All that stuff's gone. No, you put in your time, you put in your grind today.
Ooh.
And now you're good. You know, like I don't have all that pressure just is gone because I know, no, I put in my work today. That's what it is. The grind is the goal. And that's just been huge for my psyche going through with this next book, because it's been a battle, man. Like, this is the second book I've ever been writing, man.
You just spoke my soul.
Going through all this new, every book is its own epic quest, and this one's I'm right in it now. It's awesome.
I think you just spoke to my soul with that, man. I love that take on it. Holy crap, dude! I've never heard that. I love that.
Put in the work. That's it.
Holding yourself to unrealistic expectations with numbers and this and that. Put in your work. Do what your work brings you that day. Grind it out. Do what you can, but leave it at the door.
That's it. And then you've put in your work. That's it. And with writing, the hard part for me is your brain's always on. So you could slave away at it every waking moment, every spare time, open it. And that can be just crushing because it's the mounting, the pressure, like it can just be way too much. So when I finally I've put in my time, and now close the lid, and I can enjoy my family, do my work, do all the other things that are life. And I'm not constantly being crushed under this pressure to get more words out, to do all this. No, I put in my time today, move on. It's awesome.
Good for you, man. As a man, I can understand how with a family, and as a man, I feel as a man, it's like, am I doing all I can to be a good husband or a good father? And when those things, like, let's just use it for me so I can relate. Let's just say I want to get my bench up 5 pounds next time I max out. Using them grind moments every day, putting the work in, and not letting while I'm out to dinner with my kids and wife, or at the movies, or watching, whatever it is, affect me because that's done with
Yeah,
for the
you
day.
got your workout in. And you can't go, like, say you want to get 5 pounds on your bench. You can't go bench press for 20 hours a day and expect to get stronger. It's not going to work. You're going to
Right.
burn out. You're going to get weaker. So,
Oh, yes.
right, you can't. You literally can't. You got to get your time in and get out. And that's optimizing. And you grow when you're not working out. I talked, right? You tear your muscles down. You get those creative juices going when you're in that pit. When you turn it off, that's actually when that creativity or that strength is getting built. It's when you're not actively trying to look right at it.
Dude, Nick just dropped some reverend type shit on us right there.
Let's
love
go,
that.
man.
I
I
love
actually
that.
had the wildest, like, just talking about how the creative brain works. This was just so wild to me. Tony Todd died the other day. Tony Todd was that guy who played the Candyman,
Oh,
right?
the
Just
black guy?
a legendary icon in horror community, right? Just one of my
Yes.
and of all the I love. I'm such a horror fanatic. Horror movies, horror video games, horror novels, and the movie that scared me more than any other in my life was the Candyman. I watched it with my buddy Troy Bell, who was like on my AAU team. I was the only white kid. He was like my first like black friend, lived in the inner city. So I
Yeah.
was like the suburban white kid from the north, staying down with my buddy Troy on a sleepover. And then we watched the Candyman, which takes place in Cabrini Green, scary. And so it was, and it scarred me literally for life, right? So
Yeah.
I was scared of the mirror forever. I just love that movie. So anyway, Candyman is in my psyche, but I hadn't watched it in like 20 years. Like it's still just, and then Tony Todd died, so I watched the opening credits because I remember the Philip Glass score, and it has the top down shot of the Chicago freeway, and then it's got this haunting piano score by Philip Glass, and then Tony Todd's voice comes in right at the end, and it's without question, in my opinion, the most ominous vocal ever in any horror movie. Like it's chilling. And
Masculine voice.
the line that he says, I don't want to give it away, but I realized that line at the end of those credits had been cut into my psyche when I was 10 years old. And I had already written an homage to it in Sledge versus the Wendigo. I'd already written it. So it had been there lurking in my brain and come out. And I hadn't even known when I wrote it that that's what it was an homage to. And so like, it was like, my creative brain is like working on levels that like I'm just have not consciously aware of. It's just so wild, man. It's so wild. So I now realize that Sledge versus the Wendigo, so much of it is this massive is an homage to the Candyman. So in the book, it's like this white woman going into this scary land of Cabrini Green with this haunting evil figure. Well, in Sledge versus the Wendigo, it's Sledge going into this evil land, but he kind of is the Candyman. It's just going to be badass, man.
Dude, I love that was an inspiration for you, because I wouldn't say that it was on a level that it was like yours at all. I had seen it here and there, and I think I was young, but I hadn't watched the full movie, this and that. But I know the guy you're talking of, and yes, he was a very stout, masculine, deep voiced, like had the chin, like everything about him was like intimidating, right? So you
Just
throw a creepy
pure
side.
intimidation, yes.
Yeah.
So good.
Nick, you and I were messaging the other day about the badass women in our life. Mine finally got the kids to sleep, I'm guessing. And dear Lord, I'm so thankful for that, because boy, I can know that all four can be a little crazy. So I think she got him to sleep, and she's officially here. I'm glad you're here, my love.
There she is, Mrs. Beard. Oh, I know. I mean, we're gonna when we unveil our exclusive news, I'm gonna be talking a lot about Anishka. She's just been an absolute
I love her name.
unreal legend, man. Yeah,
That is
Anishka
just the most
Vitkovsky,
gangster name.
one of the most gangsterish names, man. It's got so many extra vowels in it.
It does,
I
but
mean,
I love
and consonants too.
Well, all right. So we'll get closer to that news then. All right. So if you think it's time, well, that's kind of the next place that I had on the thing to do. So I have some questions after, but I think it's time if you think it is.
It's time, man. Well, first, let's just talk about the next evolution of Sledge. So, Halloween 2024, it came along 1 year of Sledge. So the big unveiling was that I'm producing or running a Kickstarter for the Sledge's next evolution, the audio book, man. And dude, it's been a dream of mine. I'm a huge audiobook guy. I listen to audiobooks every day in the car on the way to work. I just love, elevating a book I love to another level. But it all comes down to the narrator. There's certain books out there, the Dungeon Crawler Carl series, the Robert Galbraith, J.K. Rowling Strike series, that I love the books, but the audiobooks elevate those to an entirely another level. And that's what I wanted for Sledge. So it was massively important for me to find the right narrator. So I ran a long, months long pit fight for the narrator. Over 100 narrators.
Oh shit!
Were trialing out. I had so many people that wanted to do it, and I really had a hardcore selection process. But the guy that I got to do it, Joshua Saxon, I got to
Joshua Saxon.
a shout out. He's done some really badass book series. He's a professional voice actor is what he does. But he's sending me clips, and honestly, man, it's Sledge like you've never heard it before. It really does. And not just Sledge, like getting Sledge's voice right, that just like Tony Todd, it's got to be when Sledge speaks, everyone shuts up and listens, right? That gravel growl that just chills the most hardened badasses to the core. Nailing that was obviously of utmost importance.
Bro, this dude's got a backlog.
Dude, he's done like all the Brian Lumley
Odyssey
series, Keith Rawson. He did one of my favorite all-time horror novels, Exquisite Corpse. I don't know if anyone's read Exquisite Corpse.
I'm going to show this real quick here. You keep talking.
Yeah, Exquisite Corpse is just incredible. One of my all-time favorite horror novels. It's like a Jeffrey Dahmer take. Chilling, absolutely chilling. But he did that audiobook. I mean, he's just he's doing Sledge now. He's got 12 books that he's trying to get done before Christmas. He's
got 7 pages on here.
Dude, he's a literal, that's what he does. This is all he does. And he is a pro. Like, he is a proper voice actor. So what I did is I made a spreadsheet of all the characters in Sledge, and then put next to them, a quick description, and then which actor I could envision playing them in the TV or movie. And honestly, hearing him do like Gow, who's like a British, like Vinnie Jones type, and then Maldonado, who's like got this Brazilian accent, and then like Shane behind the bar, who's got like the Native American, like it's just, he's absolutely crushes. It's like they're real people. Bringing my characters to life in a way that I just didn't think possible. So that's the first bit of news, is the Sledge, the audiobook is coming. I've opened a Kickstarter, and please back up my dream. It's
Yeah.
honestly, it's like Sledge as if you've never heard it before. And honestly, incredible stuff. It's being recorded now, but Josh needs his money, so I need everyone's support. And it's just,
dude, I don't know how the hell I missed that link below, but I'm putting it right now.
Yeah, man, get on there. But that's what everyone here in the chat. The real big news, the real news right now is added to the Kickstarter. So the only place in the world that you can get this limited edition exclusive release is Sledge versus merch. So Anishka, my beautiful woman, who is just an incredible designer, we've been running a contest on Instagram and X of all these possible designs. So we came out with 4 possible designs. There's going to be there's a tank top, a t-shirt, and a hoodie, and a bumper sticker. And so we came out with a pit fight for 4 designs, and then the winner of that, people could vote, was crowned the pit champion. The pit champion then went into a boss battle versus this really badass sort of Starry Night Sledge design that Anishka came up with, and we had another battle for that. The pit fighter won that, the pit champion, but then we had a final boss battle between the original pit champion design and then the final boss design. And the final boss design, which is very similar to this picture, which has got Sledge down this side and then a whole vertical Sledge kind of curving around it. It was the champion design of the pit. Now that design is exclusively being released on the Kickstarter, and there's only 25. 25 tank tops, 25 t-shirts, 25 hoodies, exclusive, limited release, only available right now on the Kickstarter. So if you want be part of the club, the only Sledge gear in the world that has this pit championship design, that's you got to get on the Kickstarter. You got to get on there and get amongst.
It's the first link in the description. I've got it up. It's an easy link. It's right there.
It's just so exciting. Everyone around here is just super jacked to have all the Sledge merch. It just looks so damn cool, man. Just like sledging up with your Sledge armor. I can't wait to see it on people's backs.
Oh, dude. I so definitely love. I think merch is a game changer for many reasons. That is a walking billboard, dude. Not only that, 100%. I'm going to be proud to wear Sledge because I know what he's about. I know what values that me and him share. I know the creator and all that went into creating Sledge. And I think that it's amazing that you've taken that step of your passion one whole next level.
Yeah, man. Sledge's motto, life hits hard, hit harder. That's merch, man. It hits you. It hits hard, dude. It's so badass. All black with so it was down to a red Sledge with a white Sledge silhouette or a red Sledge silhouette. That was a heated battle for a while, but the white silhouette just looks so epically badass. Yes,
that one.
Look at this. So epically badass on the shirt. Yeah, that white just stands out.
Sun's out, guns out, baby.
Yeah, man. Get the guns out, the Sledge tank, Sledge tee, Sledge hood.
And that was I have seen you running your vote. That was an easy one for me. I'm so glad it won, man. It looks so beautiful. There's the hood.
There's the hoodie. Yeah, just the Sledge, because it just looks tanky. So with the hoodie, for
It does.
whatever reason, because it's got I needed a hoodie that has the pocket. I love a hoodie that's not zip
Oh
up,
yeah.
that has the like the pouch, and because of that, you can't have quite as big an image on the front. So when we tried to put the guy and the Sledge on the hoodie, it just was real small. So the hoodie is just the badass Sledge across the front, which is so dope. Now there will be eventually a
Dude.
Sledge store on the website, but that image, that first design, the championship design, is a limited release, right? And you got to get on there and get that.
I got to start lifting so I don't look like a child in the tank top.
Dude, I'm sure we got extra medium size on there. The hoodies go up to 5X though, because I got so many of my buddies are just like giants. So we got huge, goes up to 5X.
Isn't it Friday after next where Santa, the gangster Santa, breaks in and he finds, it's like, this shirt's extra medium. Who wears that? I was like, I don't know. That shit's funny, dude. Extra medium, get out of here. Oh, man. So what went into, well, let's start here. What went into, we know about the audiobook, over 100 people. Bro, looking at this guy's resume, I think that you've made the right choice, bro. What was it about him? And I know you've touched on a couple things that made that light bulb go off. Or was it an experience like that? Did you hear him and like, oh, that's him? Or was it like, okay, I think that this person is really, really good. I've listened to them all now. What was it like?
100%. I knew right away, but the first time Josh did his first voice clip that I could listen to, he just from the way that I had put Sledge in the description and that he lives in this cabin, and it was
That's
just
the
opening paragraph that they had to read, where you can kind of Kira's approaching him in his cabin.
Yes.
He just kind of had this in his mind that Sledge had a sort of southern twang to his voice, which wasn't quite right. But I was just listening right away to that gravel rumble, just like the moment Tony Todd speaks in the Candyman. The moment Sledge speaks, it's got to send chills down your spine. And just very few people have that ability, have that gravel, that bass in their voice. They just physically can't. They're just not big enough dudes.
Right.
He has it. So then he did that, and I knew right away, but I had a few others that were there. So then I had a couple other clips just to see what they could do with the other voices. And you can tell for me, and when you read a book, you have to interpret the cadence and the when to pause, when to just, I mean, I know you know this. You're starting your journey as a Sledge or as a audiobook narrator. Yep. So it's just knowing that cadence and where the inflection goes. And so the coolest thing about him reading it is he could pick all that up intuitively, and then he could also read it in a way that, like, he'll put an emphasis on a word and just slam it in a way that I didn't even imagine or when I wrote it. And suddenly I'm like, damn, that sounds even more badass than it did when I wrote it. Like, he elevates the material beyond what it can possibly be on the page.
The wifey just messaged and said that you have a preview and that I can play.
Yeah, so if you look at the very end of the video, you get a little snippet. Now that's a early snippet that he sent me, and I have to admit that it's even more badass now, because as he's learned the character, he then has gone back and done all his pickups of, I only have the first 10 chapters or something that he's slowly making. He's got this Google Drive and he's uploading as he gets the finished product, and it's getting even more badass. But yeah, you can play it.
I'm trying to find it at the moment. All
Yeah,
right,
so if you get it on the Kickstarter, it's the you just play the video when it gets to the end.
Oh, it's just a video for the Kickstarter. All right, well, here
Video
we
for
go.
the Kickstarter. At the end, there's a clip.
All right, here we go, guys. Oh, that's so cool. Thanks, babe. I'd have never found that. Oh, the other badass woman in the house is here. All right, here we go.
Oh, there she is. Hey, baby.
Yes, she is. Okay.
Let's go.
Are you ready?
I walked in the front door of the mill holding the hammer. Inside it was loud. 300 drunk assholes screaming at the top of their lungs over pounding death metal. Every eye in the place was glued to the illuminated square of concrete in the center of the cavernous space. A chain fence encircled with razor wires strung along the top. Cute. Inside the cage, an enormous guy was holding another guy by the hair and punching him repeatedly in the face. With each punch, the crowd's bloodlust intensified. I walked up to the nearest drunk asshole and tapped him on the shoulder. He snapped his bearded head at me, angry to be distracted from the impending knockout. He found himself looking into the face of my sledgehammer. "That marks," I said, pointing a thumb toward the cage. The guy craned his neck to look up at me. His eyes went wide with recognition. He blinked, but nothing came out. He blinked a couple times, then settled on nodding. "Thanks," I said.
Boom.
Oops, I said, get out of here, dude. He's fucking brilliant, bro.
Dude, he's so
Brilliant.
good. He's so good. He just
I'm not
has,
like
he just
zero.
has it. He has it when it's a scene of dialogue, and then when Sledge talks, it's just like I get intimidated. It's like he has the
I got
weight.
transported to Sin City. That's where I went. Sin City,
Dude.
bro.
Yeah, so that's who I gave him for Sledge's voice. I said Mickey Rourke in Sin City. That's who I envisioned. And
he's
just
got that
ran
voice.
with it. He just ran with it. Yeah, he's so good.
Wow, man, I'm so happy for you. God damn, I love that, man. He is perfect for that. And I after hearing that, I'm an audiobook myself. But I'm just messing everything up. I listen to audiobooks too. With 4 kids, reading sentences over and over for 500 times in a row is not my thing anymore. So at night, the audiobook thing. And I am so freaking pumped, dude. I'm more happy for you because your passion, this thing that you've had in your mind is coming to fruition, bro, in many ways, in many different forms. That's so exciting.
It really is a dream. Like, I've been listening to audiobooks, like I said, on my way to work for the last 20 years. I'm listening to Sledge on the way to work now, dude. It's just crazy to me. And I'm like literally pausing at the end of a chapter, just like laughing giddily, like, oh my God, this is so damn good. It's just so good.
That was what Mrs. Beard for the assist on that. I'm so glad.
Clutch.
I listen to audio at work and continue the book at home. Yes, so I always have the physical because, like, in my dream world, like, I'm reading the book. That's me. But it always ends up that I use my credits and get the audio book because that's the more realistic. But I have to have a physical. Like, it's a must. Now, my wife's different. She's a Kindle. She's a hippity dippity. That's what I guess what I'd say to her. she goes through them books on the Kindle. And if we had her books, what is it?
I'm a paperback guy for sure, man. I love an audiobook, but man, Sledge is pulp. He's pulp paper for sure. Not that you can't read them on the Kindle, but to get the true vibe, you got to hold them in your hands.
Oh, the smell, the place on the spine on, so you can look up and see. My guy Sledge is still there. Today's good. Today's all right. He's still hanging out. And to make it even better, I'll tell you what, man. I know I thanked you, but I don't think you really understand how much you sent in the sticker, the book plate, man. Just have that little piece of personalization, dude. Man, I will forever until I am gone in dust. This will be on my shelf.
Hell yeah, brother. We're here together, man.
I love it. Man,
Dude,
I
look
have
at Ed. Got to use
Go ahead.
cutscenes from the audio in the video game. Hell yeah, man. We're going to make
Oh,
a
I didn't see
Sledge
it.
video game, man. Back Ed up. He needs money.
Ooh, that's a violent one. I mean, that's like, I feel like he's so powerful that it's not got to be a nonstop like Grand Theft Auto violence, but those moments where the shit hits the fan, things are going to happen. There's going to be an M rating, mature. It's not going to be an abundance,
about it.
but
We've
it's
been
going to
talking
be
about
there.
like having a hammer meter that you're like. Sledge doesn't have the hammer. He's tanking through. It's like a beat 'em up, and he's like using grabs and holds. But once you fill up your hammer meter, he unsheaths the hammer, and now you just have like invincible mode for like a limited amount of time. You got to save it for the boss battle. It's gonna be so bad.
You've reached maximum Sledge potential.
Dude, yeah, it's gonna be so like death metal music soundtrack comes
all of
on,
a sudden,
and away
Amazon
we go.
Oh, it's so sick, dude.
Oh yeah, good question from Tom. Yeah, so our friend Gemma Cheer, she's a designer, did the cover for Sledge. She's just super awesome. But so she did the Sledge text, the whole vibe of that thing. The only thing that I had anything to do with on that cover was the hammer. Right. That hammer I tweaked with a little bit to get it into I was very particular on what the hammer had to look like. This gnarled piece of steel that he picked up off the ground. But shout out to Anishka. She's doing the cover for Sledge versus the Wendigo. So it's going to be, a lot of the logo and design from Gemma. But man, Anishka is, she's done all the swag, all the merch. And no spoilers, but I have the first prototype of Sledge versus the Wendigo cover design. And I got to say, it's even better. It's just it's got a creepier, more horror vibe. And to just go a little insight into the theme, every book is going to have its own color theme. So Sledge versus the Labyrinth was black, red, and then a little bit of white. Sledge versus the Wendigo has got 3 different colors. I suppose I could do a world premiere. It's going to be black, white, and a little bit of purple. And it's just like this ominous night. Oh, man, it's just so good.
Bro, I just received my favorite
I can't
book
wait.
in the mail.
We're to do an unveiling. Yeah.
Purple looks so good.
Yeah, purple and black. Yeah, so it's going to be Sledge versus the Window is going to be more of an ominous horror. It's awesome. It's like I have it on the screen of my phone. I'm looking at it right now, and it just gives me chills.
He's throwing the teasers out there, dude.
Teasers, man, it's just so good.
He's like, it's so close, but it's so far away from you.
I've refused to put a deadline on it, man. Like I said, I'm putting my time in, but I just had some huge breakthroughs where it happened to me with the Labyrinth too, where I was just I don't know how creativity works, but suddenly, I'm the way I write is I'm banging away on the stone, but all these pieces just suddenly fell into shape, into place, and now I'm like, oh, I know who done it. I know what. I have the whole thing now, so it's happening, man. It's happening.
since you touched on that, tell a little bit about the way that you write. Are you pantsing, outlining, a little bit of both? What are you doing?
It's definitely both. So for the labyrinth, I had a list from a real dark website of a series of like kill for hire levels, and so that was the backbone of the story. I just came up with those levels, what depth 1 of the labyrinth, depth 2, and once I had that story, because I kind of knew what the next crime had to be, kind of led me along the path, but I didn't know who'd done it and all that. I hadn't plotted it out to that degree, and I just had sort of learned as I wrote. Okay, as long as I know what the next step is, I have to have faith, and the next step will, after that, will come, and it did, and it sort of fell out. This next book has been a hugely epic journey where I didn't know the levels and the steps, so it kind of went off in one direction, and I had to take it back, and I had to restart, and I had to sort of restart a bunch of different times to kind of figure out what exactly it was. But finally now I got all the levels to the Wendigo. Every Sledge book has its own has the same tropes. I love levels, bosses, weapon and armor upgrades, all like and
You
this
had
one
me
is
convinced
very
you
much
were a
a
better.
Conan book, like a journey through a terrifying land where you're going to get these levels of enemies that you upgrade. So it's always got to lend itself to the future video game and TV series, because those are the tropes that I love so much.
Tom, I have to say I'm asking that question as well because I need hardcovers of Sledge books.
Ooh, okay. So I got to talk to people about that, because I love a hardcover, but I only love a hardcover with a dust jacket. So I got
Me
to figure
too.
out,
I
and
love
Amazon
some
that.
others, but I'm
So
mostly with
that
Dust
might
Jacket.
have to be a Kickstarter thing or something, because I don't like the hardcover that's printed on the cover. Just me. I don't know why.
No,
Just
I get
doesn't
it.
feel right. So I got to
But the
have
dust
a
cover
dust
is
jacket
legit.
hardcover. So it's in the works, but
Okay.
we'll get there. But yeah, so this book, I got all the levels now, and I have this huge. I know who, and every Sledge book has to be a mystery too. So who the big bad is got to be only unveiled at the end, and I finally got all that, man. It's just gonna be.
So I wanted to touch on something real quick. I've obviously heard the word Wendigo, and I wanted to look up exactly what it meant. And I posted that in the chat, guys. Now, as far as how it relates to the second book, is this just somebody that calls themselves the Wendigo, or
Yeah,
is there
well,
more literal terminology going on?
let's deep dive into it, right? So, so the Wendigo is so the Native American tribe of northern Minnesota, where the Sledge verse takes place, the people of that land, or the originally called the Cherokee, the Ojibwe Indians. The Wendigo is a legend amongst a bunch of Native American tribes, but specifically the Ojibwe tribe of this northern land. And what the legend is of a cannibal demon that lives in the forest, that possesses men and women, possesses humans, and instills in them an insatiable bloodlust and hunger for murder, and in some cases cannibalism.
Subtle.
And I think it comes from the fact that back in the day, these were people that lived in this brutal winter land for in teepees, wigwam, like out living out of doors, and so any food that they had to uh, live on through the winter. There's no growing season for 8 months in Minnesota, and game gets scarce. So they had to live off stored provisions. So hunger became a major starvation, a major deal, and so I think the Wendigo legend grew out of that
Mm.
pure starvation. When you started feeling like it was time to maybe murder someone and eat them to survive, it was the Wendigo that got you. So the Wendigo is this malevolent demon force that sort of possesses people to commit murder. Well, in the Sledgeverse, it's different. The Wendigo are a gang that sort of think of themselves as incarnations of the Wendigo. But the way I've created it for this book, this is spoilerish, but you get it early on in the book, is there a sort of this elite fighting force, sort of a militia / gang that inhabits the boundary waters, which is the real life unguarded border between northern Minnesota and Canada, which is just 2 million acres of complete wilderness. It's interconnected lake chain, so it's literally incrossable. You can't build a road. So if you have to cross it, you have to carry a canoe. You can't bring in a motor. There's no structures. Well, in the Sledgeverse, of course, this land is a smuggling highway for this elite crew of warriors, and their ranks are the ranks of predators that live in that woods. So you start out as a wolf spider at the bottom of the food chain, and then you work your way up the ranks in this sort of kill or be killed, survival of the fittest warrior tribe, warrior gang, all the way up to the elite top warrior of the entire thing, and that is the Wendigo. So the Wendigo is there's only one Wendigo, and he's the leader of this ruthless gang of elite level mercenaries, and of course Sledge has got to battle his way through.
I just wanted to make sure that you covered that, because I didn't want anybody to take it too literal, because I know the feel of Sledge, and I didn't. I'm glad.
Yeah. So Sledge versus the Labyrinth. There was a question today that it's not a literal labyrinth. Like, so the Sledge verse, my dream, my image of it is it is based on the Conan, but set in modern day. So it's not fantasy. But it is a larger than life graphic novel reality. But there's no magic and there's no supernatural elements.
No.
So the Wendigo is a representation of this legend, and it's a real life militia in the book, sort of a gang, as opposed to like an actual evil spirit.
So also, guys, those who haven't read Sledge versus Labyrinth, you're going to come across a plethora of situations in which you find the author, Nick, my man, speaking about specifics, whether it's about the arms that they're using, the way someone is dying, particularly very cold, in a scene that I love very much, that is like, it's next level shit, dude, that I'm like, hold on, is this guy like in the CIA type shit? Because he knows some shit that makes a lot of sense that I had never thought of ever. So you're a convincing author. You're a convincing voice in the fact that you don't write just the story. There's so much depth to it. And I just wanted to make sure that came across to any of those who are out there that are watching or who will watch. And you want a little bit of a taste of the prose. You'll go through let's see how many pages this is. We got 315 pages. I went through it and I'm a very slow reader, probably a week. Now, to the normal person, that's like 2 days. I know my wife went through it in like 2 or 3 days. So that's a bittersweet thing, though, because as soon as you have a taste of Nick's prose, you're just like, why does it have to end? Because I just want this thing to continue. Like, I know things are getting wrapped up and there's going to be a next one, but I found myself still wanting to flip this invisible page that wasn't there. So that's
why the audiobook's going to be so awesome, because it's sort of like the sequel. Yes, it's the same book, but it honestly, every time I listen to it, it's like reliving it again and seeing it in more 3-dimension. The way he does the characters is just so damn cool. It's amazing.
Dude, Grenfell had a great idea. A special edition Sledgehammer? Get out of here.
Dude, yeah. So my kids for Halloween last year made that one there. That's I see it. Yeah, it's a badass sort of sledge prop which we
I
could,
can I can
as opposed to a
envision like
real hammer, which would weigh like 40 pounds. We could make sort of a foam prop, which would be freaking awesome. I want to do action figures, man. A Sledge action figure would be
it's
so
one of
bad.
those series, bro. I think that is a very real thing because, like I said, man, I just for so many reasons that we've already kind of talked about, but I'm happy, man. I'm happy for what's coming up. I'm happy for what you're doing, and the news is very exciting. It's
Yeah,
just
man.
like that
Get
next
that
level of
perch.
yeah, it's just that next level of all right, we're doing this.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, yeah, it's just crazy that that we can, right? Like that there's enough people out there that want to back a audiobook, want to listen to it, want to read Sledge, and every day it grows, man. So just thank you for all of you out there that have helped support my dream. It just really, really, really is my dream come true, my all-time dream. And it's just starting, man.
That's it.
Sledge just got here, man. Hey, we're growing this thing. It's gonna
We're
be
still in the
Sledge is here to
introduction.
stay.
Yeah, we're still in the introduction, and I love that you put it that way because that means that you have lots of ambition to show the world more Sledge.
That's it, man.
What would you say is the piece of advice you wish you'd had from beginning this writing, seriously writing the first book to now? What is that piece of advice that you would give to a indie author watching that you wish you would have had?
Yeah. So it, the biggest learning curve for me has been once the book was published. I think the mindset, there's going to be a lot of that weight and that pressure, that disappointment, that um, of the reality of what being an indie author is. You do all your marketing yourself. So every copy of Sledge that has ever been sold has been sold through word of mouth via Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. That's it. I don't do any paid advertising anywhere.
Oh
And so
wow, I didn't know that.
I don't do any. I'm not saying that I won't, but I did
Sure.
some Amazon ads for a while, and it was a money sink. I did some, so everything. Sledge really is underground. So I think the piece of advice is just to put in that time and keep at it, and don't let the setbacks stop you. So once I got that feeling of, hey, I'm going to put in my 2 hours of workout today. So I do the same thing with my marketing. You know what? I'm going to do my one post here. I'm going to do like that one thing a day here. Because social media is like another thing, just like writing or anything, where you can put an endless amount of time into it, and there is diminishing returns for sure. So I just say, figure out what it is that how much time you can put into each thing per day, put in your grind time, and then leave it, and be heartened by the fact that that's what it takes, and that's all it takes. It doesn't take thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars or hours shouting into the void, throwing money here and there. You can do it. It's just, you gotta don't have any crazy expectations. Just go in and enjoy each day of it. Every new reader, every new moment is the dream. The
What if
grind is the goal.
what if somebody that's watching this right now wants to reach out and ask questions or has watched your experience with an aspect? Is that something that you feel this indie community in yourself would be open to?
Oh, 100%, man. I mean, anyone who wants to hit me up about anything regarding Sledge, regarding writing, I love, it's a dream of mine to be here talking about Sledge. Like, I just didn't think this was possible. I love interviews, questions. I'd love to do any sort of thing. Talking about writing is a passion. So let's go. Hit me up,
Nick is
email
a
me,
real legend.
Twitter me. Let's go.
Yeah, he there's I don't think that there's any Well, I'm sure that there's borders to this because, of course, we're human, but it's like I've never asked Nick anything or talked about anything with him or and a lot of other people too, because that's what we both love so much about this book community. That if you wanted help with something and they had experience with it, that they wouldn't share that. So I just kind of wanted to reiterate that because that's where a lot of where this community thrives. I think is well, it's something like what we're doing right now, but also those moments where maybe if I'm writing some, I'm having an issue with this scene or these characters and develop whatever it is, and I've really been wanting to reach out to somebody. I think anyone that's new here deserves to know how welcoming this book community is and how wonderful and how much everybody else wants you to rise to the top alongside everyone else.
Hmm.
So I just
That's
wanted to
the
make sure people
coolest thing
knew.
about this community. Exactly like you said, man. We're all in this together, and everyone. Well, I want every success for every person. You know, it's like if someone else's book sells 1 million copies, that's awesome. If you know what I mean, this is what we want for everyone, right? We all want to grow. We're all in this. We're all pulling the same oar. It's just so cool, the support and everything, right? And that's how this works. It's all through word of mouth and spreading hype. We're doing it old school, and I love that about it.
Yes. Avid Book Junkie has a picture now. Look at that, my man. Man, my wife's gonna think I'm so dorky. Anytime I seen someone bald with a beard, I'm like, hey, we see the same barber. So that's what I was gonna say to you until I found out it was the lamest joke ever. But good to see you, man. It's good to see who I'm
Action figure,
chatting
man.
with.
Let's do it.
Yes. All right. So am I missing anything, man? I don't want to leave anything that you
Nah,
wanted to
man,
throw
this
out on
is
the
it. This
table.
is it. We've been on long enough. We don't need to drone on. This has been so much fun, brother.
Awesome. So, as always, Nick, absolutely thrilled that I just get to see and be a part of what you're doing, brother. I'm a huge #1 fan of yours. I always will be. Keep on keeping on. Keep that passion that you display and that is just kind of seeps out of you. It's contagious. Keep that going. Oh, Cinna, he's 6 inches, 5 or 6 inches taller than me. I'm 6'5", and I don't usually see people taller than me, but I would have to look up to him. He's 6'10".
Oh, just before we go, I see this John D. Clay in the chat here asking about pre-order books. I actually have a point about that. So I wanted to have a pre-order paperback and audiobook or ebook for Sledge. But I think for the next Sledge, I actually won't have the paperback because Amazon only does ebook pre-order. So if you want the paperback pre-order, at least when I did it, it might have changed by now. I haven't looked into it recently. I had to go through Ingram Spark, and the amount, so hundreds of people pre-ordered the paperback, but through Ingram, I get like a third or maybe even a quarter of the royalty. So if I could do it again, I would only have ebook pre-order, and then when it comes out, have paperback to get full royalty, just in terms of from a business side of it, personally.
Ooh.
Unless Amazon comes out with the ability to have a pre-order paperback, they just I still don't think they do. So my advice would be have the pre-order ebook 100%, and then but keep the paperback until release date, unless you can get the same royalty as you can through Amazon, which I don't think you can on any other platform.
Wow, that's experience what you just said,
Yeah.
and that doesn't come until you have experience. So, John, I'm glad that you asked that.
Yeah, good question.
Yeah, and that's a real answer. That's experience. Nick, I just have to say, man, again, I'm so happy and I've had such a wonderful time as I always do, man. I hope that you have a wonderful day. So everybody that's watching or will watch in the future very soon, every link that you'll need is below, especially that Kickstarter link, as well as the socials, etc. Nick is also Nick Horvath, the wonderful guest I have here. I always call you Sledge, so we have that is at the bottom
Don't
there.
mind it.
Reach out if you have questions. Go check out his first books, The Sledge versus the Labyrinth. Links below. And man, I just hope you have a wonderful day, and cannot wait for all of that to hit. And I can't wait to walk around my small town here wearing Sledge, brother. So.
Oh yeah, brother. Can't wait. Hey, thank you so much for having me on, my dude. This is just a absolute joy every time. Every time I feel like I'm just hanging out with one of the boys.
Bro, thank you for saying that, man. That is the goal, because we're talking about stuff we both love, but I want it to be relaxed and fun. So, hey, everybody that was here live, thank you so much. If you watch in the future on replay, thank you so much as well. Like, share, subscribe. If you watch in the future on replay, leave a comment with your favorite part about this interview, or perhaps a question you have for Nick or myself, or a Sledge, what's to come, anything. Leave that below, and we will see you all very, very soon. Tomorrow, I will be doing the part 2 live interview with Tad Williams.
Let's go,
Can't even
man.
believe that, dude. That Tad Williams has given me the time of day. He has
Unreal,
one of
man.
the fathers
You're
of freaking classic epic fantasy. So tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern, I will be chatting part 2 live with Tad Williams. Hope to see you all there. Nick, give everybody my love. You have a wonderful day, because it's daytime where you're at. It's tomorrow daytime.
I'm gonna go watch Tyson whoop this dude's ass.
All right, man. All right,
It's
brother.
legendary.
All right, guys. We'll talk to you tomorrow.